What if the company that built your AI assistant decided it also wanted to be your pharmaceutical company? That is no longer a hypothetical. Anthropic just made its move. This week at an event called The Briefing, AI for Science, Anthropic unveiled Claude Science, a new AI workbench built specifically for researchers. It pulls together fragmented tools, datasets, and workflows into one environment, and it can generate figures and scientific visuals on demand. On the surface, that sounds like a productivity tool, a better interface for researchers. Useful, but not world-altering. Then Anthropic said the quiet part loud. They don't just want to sell AI tools to drug companies, they want to develop their own drugs. Anthropic is planning to run its own in-house research programs aimed at producing actual healthcare interventions. That is a fundamental shift in what kind of company Anthropic is, and it has consequences that stretch far beyond Silicon Valley. Let's start with who this affects most immediately: the biotech and pharma industry. Anthropic already has a long list of biotech and pharmaceutical customers using Claude. These companies are paying Anthropic to help accelerate their pipelines. Now imagine you are one of those customers. You are sharing your research workflows, your data patterns, your scientific priorities with Claude, and the company behind Claude just announced it wants to compete with you in your own market. That is a real tension, and it will not go unnoticed. Then there are scientists themselves, the researchers, biologists, and chemists whose expertise has always been the irreplaceable core of drug discovery. AI won't eliminate them overnight, but it will restructure what their work looks like and, critically, how many of them are needed. Drug discovery has historically been one of the most expensive and time-consuming processes in all of industry. A single drug can take over a decade and cost more than $2 billion to bring to market. If AI can compress that timeline meaningfully, the economics of the entire sector get rewritten. That could be genuinely good news for patients. Faster development could mean treatments reach people sooner. But it also concentrates enormous power in the hands of whoever controls the AI. And right now, that is a very short list of companies. Now consider the regulatory dimension. The FDA was built around a world where drug development is slow, transparent, and deeply documented. AI-accelerated discovery creates new questions the agency is not fully equipped to answer yet. How do you audit a model's reasoning when it proposes a novel molecule? There is also the geopolitical layer. The United States and China are already in an open competition over AI dominance. Biotech is a national security priority for both countries. An AI lab that can accelerate drug development is not just a business asset, it is a strategic one. Anthropic framing this launch around the potential to dramatically accelerate scientific discovery is deliberate. It positions the company not as a tech vendor, but as a scientific institution, one with a mission that justifies a much larger footprint in the world. And that matters because Anthropic has always leaned into its identity as the safety-focused AI lab, the responsible adult in the room. Developing proprietary drugs is a significant expansion of that identity, and it brings new responsibilities and new conflicts of interest. Here is where the forces really converge. You have a well-capitalized AI company, access to the world's scientific literature and tooling, a growing base of pharma customers feeding it domain knowledge, and now explicit ambition to own outcomes, not just enable them. What happens next depends on whether Anthropic's in-house drug program produces real results, or whether it's a long-horizon bet that mostly signals ambition right now. Either way, the announcement alone will move markets, shift partnerships, and prompt conversations in boardrooms and regulatory agencies. Other AI labs will be watching closely. Google DeepMind has already made significant moves in protein folding and drug discovery. Microsoft is deeply embedded in healthcare AI through its Azure partnerships. If Anthropic goes vertical in pharma, expect others to follow. So here's what you should actually take away from this. When an AI company starts developing its own products in a regulated industry, it stops being just a platform. It becomes an actor with a stake in outcomes. And that changes how you should think about its tools, its data practices, and its incentives. Claude Science might be genuinely useful for researchers. AI-accelerated drug discovery might save lives. Both of those things can be true at the same time, as the concentration of this much capability in one company's hands deserves serious scrutiny. The AI story is no longer just about chatbots and coding tools. It is about who gets to make drugs, who controls scientific infrastructure, and what happens when the most powerful technology companies in history decide the best way to deploy AI is to do everything themselves.